Okay, so this is part two of the pop art tutorial. At this point, I've got all of um, my three images cut out and pasted in here. What I need to do now is I'm going to save, and we'll go to File, Save As. It's got our name entered previously, but if you didn't put that in at the beginning, make sure you save it as pop art or something descriptive so we can find it if it gets lost. And let's put it in a folder called Photography Work. So let's keep everything in one place. And I'm going to make sure that the format is set to Photoshop, and I'm going to save. And this, you can just click OK. Now in the future, you can just do file save. Right now it's just been saved, so it doesn't let us save again. So you can see I do a change, now it can save. So you can just do Command S. I recommend saving probably about every 5 minutes or so, and maybe every class period doing save as and creating something called a version history. So if I do pop art and now I have pop art 2, again I did file save as, pop art 2. Now if anything goes wrong with my file, it gets corrupted or something like that, I can always go back and I've got a second file to look at. Okay, so again, save every 5 minutes or so, create another version, add the number 2, add the number 3 sequentially. Probably about every hour, every class period or so. If you're working on a bigger project, it's really important. That way, if you, again, you lose something, you don't have to go entirely back to the beginning. Okay, so I've got my three images in here. I'm on my move tool, so I can start manipulating and moving these around. I want to do two things. I'm going to put on auto select. Right now, if I click on this guy, it moves him. But if I click on this guy, it keeps moving that other guy, right? I want to click on you, but I can't. If I put on auto select, it'll automatically switch layers to whatever I'm clicking on. You can see the layers here shift to whoever I'm clicking. Okay, so that's a good thing to have on. Then I'm going to put show transform controls on, and that brings up this binding box. Now I'm going to go ahead and shrink myself down with this transform controls. And if I click on the corner here, you can see I can start bringing this smaller. Now, if you hold the shift key on the keyboard, it keeps it from getting squashed. It constrains the proportions. So here, so that's not what I want, but if I hold shift, it keeps that from happening. So I'm going to make this guy a little tiny guy. Let's make him real tiny. Okay, now I want to go and work on a different layer. I want to move this other guy over here or something like that. I can't do that until I double click on this. Look how the thick line around the box when I double click changes. Now it's like a light gray line around. Now I'm able to do other things, but when you're in a transformation, it kind of locks everything out. So make sure you double click on your transformation when you're done with it. Okay, so now I'm going to put this guy in this guy's hand. I don't like how he's going behind it, so I'm going to go to this layer here where he's on layer 1. I'm going to drag him up to the top. Now he's in front. Okay, so the uppermost layers are in front of the layers that are below them. Those are actually behind, right? So I've got this guy. Now I want to make a copy of this guy. So I'm going to, just with my move tool still, I'm going to hold down Option and drag on him. And when I Option drag, it makes copies. Okay, I was holding Option that entire time. Now I want to back up. I didn't really want that many. So I'm going to go to Window, History, and make this window a little bit bigger. This is like a giant list of undos. This allows you to go back in time. Okay. Now, if I were to go back in time and then change something, you can see it's created a different kind of leap in history, right? So you got to be a little careful. Sometimes you can sort of alter time and you'll have some problems on doing things. So again, I'm going to put this guy up above. Okay. So I'm going to option click on this guy, make a copy, and I want him to turn around. I want him to face the other way. So I'm going to go to the edit menu, transform, flip horizontal. Now he's looking the other way. Okay. I'm going to put him back over here, and I'm going to put this guy in his hand. Okay. So I'm going to hold shift and drag him down. I'm going to double click on him. I'm going to put him here. And let's see here. I want him to be in front, so I'm going to lift him up. Okay, now he's in front of this guy. I'm going to zoom in with Command plus. I'm going to make this guy even tinier. So he fits in the hand. Double click. Okay. And now I think I'm going to actually put this guy, I'm going to make a copy of this guy and put him, oops. Okay, I'm trying to option click, but I accidentally started a transformation, so I got to double click. I'm going to option click and drag out a copy. I'm going to put him over in this guy's hand. Move this guy out of the way. And I want this guy to be in the background, and I'm going to make him really big. Now, when I do a transformation and everything looks all big and pixely, don't worry. Once you double click on it, it sort of renders it and makes it nice. So I'm going to put him in the background, like that. And I'm going to make him even bigger. Okay. That's about what I'm looking for. Enter. Okay, now we're going to start doing some effects with some different colors. First off, I want to make a interesting kind of background. Right now this background is sort of blank and boring, and it's locked. So in order to unlock it, you have to double click on its name and then rename it. New background. You could rename it anything really. Okay, now you'll notice that that lock has disappeared. Okay, now with my gradient tool, it's right under the eraser. Sometimes it's set to paint bucket. So go over here, click and find the gradient tool. And then you can change the color of the gradient up here. I'm going to choose something like that. And you can alter your gradient. You can add more colors to it by clicking right below and then clicking in the little color box, double clicking, and choosing different colors. Okay. You can also shift where the fading of the gradients take place. You can change the midpoints between those colors as well. If you want to get rid of a color, you just, let's say I've got this color here, blue, and I didn't want it there. You just click and drag it down and it disappears. Okay, so I've set up my gradient how I want. I'm going to hit OK. And now on my new background layer, I'm going to click and drag out a gradient. Okay, now if I click and drag very long, it has a nice long fade. If I click and drag short, it's a very quick fade, right? And it also goes in the direction that I'm pulling, okay? So I'm going to do a long fade across the background, okay? And then I'm going to have this guy, I want him to blend into that background a little bit. So I'm going to go to my layer blend mode. It's this little menu here, and I'm going to just kind of tinker around. Here you can see he's sort of like now faded into that background. I kind of like that. Multiply does a fun thing. I'm pretty happy with that actually, color burn. But you can just try around with these things. Also your opacity, if I put them back to normal, I can show you what opacity does. Sort of like shows like how see-through it is, so you can make it kind of transparent. I'm going to leave it at 100, put it back to color burn because I like that. Okay, then I like how these guys are sort of together. I'm going to go to Edit, Transform, Flip Horizontal, again to turn this little guy around. And I want to combine these into a single object. Okay, now once you do this, you can't manipulate them individually, so you got to really make sure this is what you want. I'm going to click on him, so that layer is selected. I'm going to hold Shift, and I'm going to click on him, and now they're selected together. And if I go over here and Control click, which is like a right click, I control click on the layer's name. I can go to merge layers. Where is that? Oh yeah, merge layers. Okay. So now they've become a single layer. And I don't have to select them separately. If I turn this eyeball, you can see that they behave on a layer together. Unlike these guys, which are separate. Okay. Now I want to do some kind of weird repetition with this. So I'm going to hold down Option and click. And I want another one back here. Let's see here. I'm going to move them over. Oops. Here, let's get rid of my history menu. It's kind of in the way. Okay, I'm going to bring this back up. And let's put a couple more in here. Okay. And why don't we go... I'm going to want to do this next effect, the gradient map, to all of these. So I'm going to click on him, hold Shift, click on all of these guys. Oops, I've entered a transformation, so I got to double click. Okay, there we go. Oops, transformation again. Okay, so I shift clicked it. All these layers are together. I'm going to control click on it, merge layers. Now this is all one single object. And I can even make if I were to option click on that, more of those, right? Now I'm going to do some different gradient maps. So here's what we do. I'm going to do it just on this row. I'll do a different one. I'm going to go to Image, Adjustment, Gradient Map. And this functions, you alter this just like you did your regular gradient. Right now I don't like the gray. I'm going to do something, I'm going to make a custom gradient. Let's see here, they got a lot of orange behind them. So I'm going to do the complementary of orange, complementary color scheme. So I'm going to have a lot of blue that creates a lot of contrast. Orange and blue are opposite on the color wheel. Let's get a different blue in here. Let's see here, and we'll leave a little bit of red for some highlights. Okay. So I'm going to hit OK. Now I'm going to do a different gradient on this next set, and it's making it hard for me to click on it because this transformation box, transform control, is in the way. So I'm actually going to just click on the layer, which will make my selection. Image, Adjustments, Gradient Map. Let's see here. So we got orange, blue. I'm going to make a really orange one here. I'm not going to edit this one too much. Okay, okay. And then let's do another kind of bluish layer. Adjustments, Gradient Map. Okay, and this is all kind of review, so I'm just going kind of quickly here. And we'll do, let's see here, make it a little darker. Okay, good. Okay, now I'm going to go in and I'm going to change my blend modes a little bit. Let's do, that's kind of cool. Again, just kind of play around with these a little bit. Maybe I'm going to have the opacity on these guys a little lower, and then go down to here and I'll have the opacity pretty low, right? This guy is looking kind of basic, so let's do a gradient map on him. Adjustments, gradient map, and let's do a complement of green. The opposite of green on the color wheel is red, and so to make something stand out really bold and have high contrast, we're going to do kind of a red, so he really stands out. Let's make that a little bit brighter on this. Actually, we add a little accent here. Okay, I like that. And then let's make this little tiny guy. Let's do something to him. Image, Adjustments. You can also change colors with some of these other things. You can kind of play around with those, but we'll get into those at a later date. Let's make him red, green. Actually, I'm going to leave him how he is. Okay? I think he looks pretty funny. The only normal thing in the picture. Okay? Now, this guy in the background, just going to like double him up a little bit. That layer still has that color burn on it, so some weird stuff's kind of happening, and it's pretty fun. I'm digging it. Okay. Now, the last thing we're going to do is we're going to do some movement. Okay, so let's do movement with our liquify tool. And I'm going to make a copy of this guy. Excuse me, I kind of lose my voice a little bit. Okay, oops. Okay, so I've got this little guy here. It's on this layer. I'm going to turn transform controls off for right now because I don't really need to change them. And I'm going to turn auto select off as well, just so I can actually click on that guy if I'm on the right layer. Okay, so now I can grab him. Okay, so I'm going to have him repeated out a little bit. So option click on him. And I'm going to show transform controls. I'm going to rotate these guys a little bit. Remember to double click when you're done. Okay, and then let's make another copy of this last guy. And we're going to go to Filter, Liquify. Now it's only affecting the layer that I'm on. Okay, I can make my brush bigger with the plus, the right bracket. I'm going to go to Advanced Mode. It gives me some more tool options. And I'm going to use the Forward Warp tool. I'm going to make the brush a little bit bigger. And I'm just going to stretch him out. Like he's getting into a black hole or something. Okay, so then I did that on that guy. I'm going to go down to this next one, Filter, Liquify. I'm going to stretch him just a little bit. Going into this guy, filter, liquefy. I'm doing this all kind of quick, but it's kind of a review for you guys at this point. Okay, so that's kind of fun. And then I want to make it look like this orange guy here has got some movement to him. So I'm going to go to his layer. I'm going to put auto select on so it's easy to find him. He's on layer 3 copy. Okay, and I'm going to go to filter, liquefy, and let's just do, you could do all kind of different stuff. This is the twirl tool. So, I mean, I could make it look like his hand is sort of like warping and twirling. Some Salvador Dali kind of stuff. You can use the pucker tool, which makes things sort of shrink in, or the bloat tool, which makes things sort of swell. All right. If you don't like what you did, you can just hit reconstruct, and it'll put it back to normal, or I'm sorry, restore all. Okay. And I'm just going to go back and use my forward warp tool and just add some like streaming, like this guy's sort of like smearing through space like a space ninja. Okay, pretty happy with that. I'm going to hit OK. Here we go. Again, save frequently. I'm going to do save. And then we'll do save as. I'm going to do another version history. So save as. I got to wait till it's done down here. Okay, file, save as. I'm going to do this as pop art 3, again, just in case something goes wrong. Okay, and I'm fairly satisfied with my image here. Okay, so this will kind of give you an idea of the process for creating your own pop art.